After nearly 200 playthroughs, Morgott's Cursed Sword is my favorite curved greatsword in the game. It is a weapon that everyone playing the game will have an opportunity to acquire, and I have been itching to make a new build for it ever since the DLC dropped. So I hope you all enjoy this new take on a JerseySide classic build. Morgott's Cursed Sword is a remembrance weapon from the boss. Simply go to Enya and Round Table Hold and trade for the weapon. We have our diagonal cuts for the light attacks, and a 2-chain heavy attack, the second fully charged heavy being a double swing. This wasn't a heavy attack build, and I only really used it when I was low on FP. Heavy and light attacks both deal the innate blood loss buildup in the weapon, a status effect we will build around. The Ash of War is great. Cursed Blood Slice is a 2-part Ash of War that allows us to use Morgott's lunging slice attack with the fiery explosive follow-up. The Ash covers ground, so if you see an opening, even if you're a little far away from the boss, mash that Ash of War button once or twice, and you'll deal some physical damage, fire damage, and blood loss buildup. I don't think I mentioned it on my first build, but for the Ash of War, when you charge into some smaller enemies, it will stun them, effectively stun locking them as long as you have endurance and mind. Any enemy that is vulnerable to fire or blood loss will fall quickly. This was one of my faster Millennia kills, clocking in at 2 minutes and 18 seconds on Max New Game Plus. In a change up from almost 3 years ago, I did use Incantations. Golden Vow gives us 15% more damage and 10% more damage negation, and Flame Grant Me Strength boosts our physical and fire damage by 20%, along with a stamina regeneration boost. By speccing into Faith and not purely Dex and Arcane, we will lose out on some blood loss the old build had, but because some of your adversaries will be highly resistant to blood loss, or completely immune like Radabeast, I think the extra damage negation from Golden Vow is helpful, along with that long duration 15% damage boost. For our playstyle, we want to start with a Flask, then Golden Vow, then Flame Grant Me Strength. Open up with an Ash of War or two, as boss opening moves are pretty easy to predict, and then keep the pressure up so we can inflict the blood loss status. This build uses both the Lord of Blood's Exaltation and the White Mask, so we get a nice boost from blood loss in the vicinity. Also, I know I use these in every playthrough because they are so useful. If you don't already use these, buy some Kukris in the Weeping Peninsula and keep them in a quick select slot. Kukris have incredible range, they inflict blood loss. They are also my go-to method for keeping enemy poise down at a distance. If there's one thing you take away from the video, let it be this: buy some Kukris and use them. This is Elden Ring completion 199 for me. Now I have to ask all of you, how many game completions of Elden Ring do you have? I know many people watching have a handful, some only a couple, and a few of you may have dozens like myself. To be truly familiar with a game and how it works, you simply have to play through it time and time again. And that applies to much more than games, whether it be your job or reading a book, or becoming intimate with the natural world around you. So let me know how many times you have decided the fate of the lands between. And as always, for more Souls-like and build videos like this, every single Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, be sure to like and subscribe to the Jersey Side. Our talisman setup is a tad different post-DLC, as we now have access to the two-handed sword talisman, which boosts our moveset damage by 15%. The two-headed turtle talisman is an upgrade from the green turtle talisman, boosting our stamina regeneration even more. Cursed Blood Slice is a cornerstone of the build, so we need the Shard of Alexander for 15% more Ash of War damage, and of course the Lord of Blood's Exaltation for a 20% damage boost whenever there is blood loss inflicted in the area. To stack on top of it, I wore the White Mask. I usually don't because I'm not a fan of this helmet, unless I'm wearing Leida's armor. It's the only armor set that I can comfortably match it with. The tiers for the build were the Bloodsucking Crack tier, for 20% more damage at the cost of health drain, and the Fire Shroud and Crack tier, for 20% more fire damage. Unfortunately for the Fire Shroud and Crack tier, that's only going to come into effect with the Ash of War, as the sword deals physical damage. And later in the run, I switched out the Bloodsucking Crack tier for the Opaline Hard tier. It is the best tier for survivability, giving us a 15% boost to all damage negation. The Eagles lost in the wildcard round of the playoffs right before I finished the run, so I was not in the mood to play anything too risky or aggressive. Our stats at RL 170 are 60 Vigor, 20 Mind for the Ash of War and Incantations, 30 Endurance, 14 strength, 55 dexterity, as this is where our damage scales best off of, 25 faith to use Golden Vow and Flame grant me strength, and 36 arcane to scale a bit of damage and the blood loss buildup. Nearly 3 years later, this has still gotta be my favorite curved greatsword. I love Bloodhound's Fang. I may need to give that one another try, but when I think great curved greatsword, I think of Morgott's Cursed Sword. With next week being Elden Ring completion number 200, right before Code Vein 2 release week, I think I will reuse another favorite weapon of mine for the first time in well over a year. Also, fellas, you guys need to calm down. I know I have a lot of runes. Once again, I cannot spend them on anything. I bought everything already. It is my money, and I will do whatever I please with it. If you don't like it, you can get your own 250 million runes.